Today I'm changing an injector on this PD engine. It's on a Audi, but it could be the same if you've got a Volkswagen or a Seat. But anyway, this one's got the faulty injector. It's the one with this red wire, the brown wire with a red stripe. So if we follow that back, we'll know which injector it is. And I figured that out by putting an amp clamp around all the wires, looking at the parade of the injectors, and this one, the amps weren't anything like the other ones, and usually that's been an indication of early signs with a faulty injector, or it matches the fault code with the car's cylinder that's not running properly. So when it doesn't run right, it'll eventually shut it down. But in this case I found that's always right. Then I can back probe in there and check for the volts, and if the volts are the same on all the injectors, but this one's got low. In these cases it's a lower current that I find when these go faulty. When that happens, it's the faulty one, it's the start of the faulty one, or it is already misfiring. So what I've done, I've taken off the cover, all these Torx, they stay in place. The cam cover at the top of the belt, just the two clips, and this one is a BXE engine, in case anybody wants to know. Got the intake air pressure hose there, the boost hose that would come from here to here. I also removed the intake throttle body, the one that closes when you switch the car off and stuff like that, because it's a diesel. So what I'll do, I'll take out I'll show you how to set the timing up, take the injector, take the stuff off for the injector, and then how to set the injectors up once we've got the new one in. It's a bit like tappets on an old engine. It's not that difficult. So I got the car lifted up enough and it's in gear, so when I rotate that, because it's a manual transmission, I could get the bottom right down there, if I can show you that. Where is it? Oh, you can't really see it. That mirror, there you go. So there's a line there on the timing case. My hands aren't straight. My hands aren't steady, I mean. Yeah, it's very hard to show you, the camera's not zooming in. But there's a line on the timing case that you can see down there in that mirror, and it lines up with the line on the crank pulley. So that's when we know we can pin up the top one. I'll zoom out a bit there and pin up the top one now. Usually this thing that looks a bit like Bart Simpson's head, that's usually at the top, and yeah, it's this one below it right there, not the bolt but just below it, that slot there. That's where we can put the timing pin, or if you haven't got one you could use a bolt or a drill bit. What you can do is also get an idea, is it in line, by using your mirror, and that one is, that's nicely in line there. Don't know if you can see it though, but it is, the timing's fine, so whoever did the timing belt, it's just been done, that's spot on. So now we can figure out which injector we're taking out, which will involve taking off these bolts, which are, you're supposed to renew them, although you can get away with using them again. It's up to you if you want to do that. But they're stretch bolts, so you wouldn't ideally use them twice. But I know people that have, and they've never had any problems with it, but probably I wouldn't want to recommend it. It's totally up to you if you want to use stretch bolts again. Now I'm coming back to fitting this injector. They've got a new one. So first of all, I've blown out where the injector sits with my compressor, because the common rail isn't separate on this. There's a rail in the head, so that diesel's going to go into the cylinder when you pull the injector out. You don't want to leave that in there and crank the engine and then have a hydrolock. The piston is all the way up at the moment, but still it's not the point. So I'll get that one, I've blown it out, put the injector in, tighten the clamp down. Now I've got this bit to go on there, tighten that down, and I'll show you how to adjust the tappets. Well, tappets, but it's these bits here that go on the injectors, because the injector is also the pump So that's got to be done properly, and you do it for them all, not just the one you've changed. This job doesn't change the timing belt. We're not getting into that. Oh, don't need to touch that. All I've done is taken the cover off, but you're not actually taking the belt off at all. So now what we're doing, I've got the car on a jack. The car's in gear, so when I spin the wheel, I can turn the engine over. Then when I look at this, you can watch these rockers go down. This one's fully compressed, that spring on this one. Just that one only, I mean, not these. So we'll go through it and do them all, even though that's not the one that I've done. And all you do is back off the lock nut, like that. What's that, 18 mil? Then you tighten this down all the way. This is with that spring compressed all the way. Then you tighten this spring here down, this top of it, I mean, the tappet if you like, all the way until it's nipped. Then you back it off a half turn, like that. And then you lock up the lock nut. Then you go to the next ones. That's all you do to set that. That's it finished now and running. It does take a while to crank it and get it started because the fuel needs to build up. I did cycle the key in the ignition a few times to let it prime. Did that a few times. Had to put the battery jumper cables on. And then it didn't take that long after that to get it started. A little bit of smoke out the back of it because of the fuel that leaks into the cylinders. But that's how you adjust the injectors when you change a new injector. Hopefully it's helpful to somebody, and thanks for watching.